My father was a World War II veteran, and they built the memorial in World War II in Washington, D.C., and he went with all of his buddies at VFW in Houston area, and they went to on what's called an angel flight, where they took them all to the World War II memorial and then took them back home. It was a day trip. And an insurance agent, we talked about this, and he said that he had left home here in Kansas City to drive to Hannibal, Missouri to pick his father up at 2 o'clock in the morning to help him to catch a flight from St. Louis early in the morning, and they flew to Washington, D.C. And they were catered around and shown the monument and a few other things and returned him back home, and he had drive his father home and drive back home to Kansas City. He said he was up like 36 hours without any sleep, but he said it was definitely worth it because his dad was so happy. So, anyway, show you how times change. When my father enlisted in the Marine Corps, he wasn't really of age. So he told the Marine Corps recruiter he was older than he was. I asked my dad, I said, how'd you get away from that? And he said, well, back in them days, he said, if you're old enough to lie about your age, they figure you were old enough to bleed. But anyway, his mother wasn't worried about whether or not he was going to come back alive this World War II. She just wanted to make sure she could get his body back so she could bury it. He fooled her, he came home. By contrast, this Vietnam era, I joined the military. Didn't tell my mother I was joining either. So I had to go through the Dallas-Fort Worth airport on the way to my basic training. And while I was there, I called my mom, because she lived around the Dallas area. And I said, hey, guess where I'm at? She said, where's that? And I said, I'm at the airport. She said, what are you doing there? And I said, I'm on my way to Fort Polk, Louisiana. My mother called me everything but an intelligent young man. She got it over eventually. She was proud of my service. He came back to Tennessee, young man at the end of 45. Only one of 7 men in his platoon that made it back alive. He must have seen some tough times. He never talked too much about all of that. But his pictures and his memories and the cedar chest, everything but his old army hat. By the time I graduated, the winds of change had blown across our land. They were burning flags and draft cards when they bothered to take some kind of stand. And we used to laugh at Grandpa like he was some old relic from the past, 'cause he never left the house lest he was wearing that funny looking worn out army hat. Every eye was on him anytime that he went anywhere. They whispered and they pointed. You could tell that Grandpa didn't care. I ain't wearing this for them, he said. It's a whole lot more than that. For my buddies who gave everything, the least that I can do is keep on wearing this old army hat. He called me up one morning, said he'd seen it on the news on his TV. Oh, they've opened up a monument to World War II in Washington, D.C. I ain't getting any younger, and I wish someone would take me to see that. I couldn't help but think they're gonna laugh at you up there if you show up in that silly army hat. Two strangers both saluted as Grandpa walked up to the monument. One said, "Thank you, soldier, for a job well done." The other said, "Amen." And a young boy said, "Sir, my daddy went to war and never made it back. Would you take a picture standing here beside me? And maybe let me wear your army hat?" Every eye was on him. There was not a dry one in the crowd. They whispered and they pointed, and Grandpa stood up extra tall and proud. He said, "Son, just keep it," when the young boy tried his best to give it back. You're a brave little soldier, son. Every soldier needs his very own authentic army hat. For your daddy who gave everything, the least that I can do is pass on this old worn out army hat. Oh, beautiful, for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties across the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.